All right, viewers, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good day and welcome to um, an in an exclusive interview I'm recording today, Sunday, the 9th of November 2025. My name is Umar Isa Dandago, and today, as you can see, both on my background and on the background of my guests, are pictures of Shah Rukh Khan, which means we are going to center our conversation on and around Shah Rukh Khan in particular, and more broadly, about Bollywood. Bollywood, as you know, is a film industry based in Mumbai, which is now so popular that it is known not only in India or in Southeast Asia or even in Asia as a continent, but is known all over the world. Shah Rukh Khan, as he is known or is tagged as the king of Bollywood, has now over 1 billion followers and fans across the globe. And he has recently been said to be the richest actor in the world, which in turn um, makes the film industry that has made him this star one of the biggest, if not the biggest, in terms of popularity, in terms of quality of the movies and net worth. The Hollywood is by far the best one, as arguably a lot of people believe. But in terms of production, everyone knows that collectively the Indian cinema is more prolific in terms of production. So, like I said, we're going to talk about Shah Rukh Khan in particular, and just like a week ago, 7 days ago, he turned 60, and he still doesn't look like a 60-year-old man. He still looks energetic, very fit, and so on and so forth. And his shooting is from King, and as I've seen a trailer or something like that of the movie, we're going to see a lot of action and epic and so on and so forth. So for us to do this, there is no other person to help me find answers to my questions than Anupama Prabhala, aka KAPSE. She is a professor at Loyola Marymount University. She's also a film historian and chair of the Department of Film, TV, and Media Studies at Loyola Marymount University in Los Angeles, there in the US state of California, where Kamala Harris served as a senator, came from. She has taught and published on Indian cinemas in plural, from the silent era to the present for over 2 decades. Her work on melodrama has been translated into Spanish in Tecnologías de la Edad. I hope I've pronounced that name correctly. I'm not good at Spanish. And in 2023, these are just like Spanish names. She's also a co-editor of a collection of essays on Shah Rukh Khan's fan and the award-winning volume Silent Cinema and the Politics of Space in 2014. Like I said, she is the best person for us right now to talk about Shah Rukh Khan, given the fact that she has written, co-edited a collection of essays about Shah Rukh Khan, a film called Fan. Thank you so much, Professor Anupama Prabhala, aka KAPSE, for joining us on Global Arena. You are speaking to us from Los Angeles. What time is it there? It's 10 a.m., while here in Nigeria it is 7 p.m. We have already performed our evening prayers. So thank you so much. Good morning.
Thank you, Umar. Thank you. My pleasure to be here, and thank you for having me.
Well, I have to say this to my audience, my viewers, that with just one email, you said you are in. So that makes it, I mean, that makes you one of the kindest people I've ever reached out to for analysis on my YouTube channel. Thank you once again. I really appreciate it.
Of course, and of course, you also said Shah Rukh Khan.
I am I'm surprised. I'm a political journalist here in Nigeria. I host interviews with politicians. Recently, I interviewed a minister of information and I criticized him heavily about their government policies. I also, on my personal YouTube channel, this one we're talking to you on, host political analysts, journalists, diplomats, talk about global politics. And one irony is that there was an American professor who I asked because I saw him attending the Democratic National Convention before the election of Kamala Harris, and I was asking him, are you a Democrat or a Republican?" And he just said, "No, I'm a scholar. I'm a professor of political science, and my job is to analyze how politics works and so on and so forth." So the point is that he did not associate himself with any political ideology. But on the other hand, on the flip side, now we've got Professor Anupama siding with Shah Rukh Khan, saying that Shah Rukh Khan, well, is her favorite actor. Does that make you partial towards Shah Rukh Khan?
Yes, I mean, definitely. I don't think we can separate our, our, um, you know, affective, that's the word we use in cinema studies, our affective relationships, emotional relationships with stars. And I don't see why those emotional connections that we form with stars cannot be the basis of the work that we do as
Okay.
professors. That's what we talk about in my classes.
So all right, what about objectivity in research? I don't know. Isn't it okay? In journalism, we talk a lot about objectivity. I'm a Nigerian, and Donald Trump has recently threatened to invade Nigeria and attack Nigeria, and a lot of people have been talking about it. My job as a journalist, if I want to achieve objectivity, is to report the facts and not side with any government and so on and so forth. And like an American journalist, he or she is not supposed to side with Donald Trump, for example. But then you as a researcher, I don't know, do you have this sense of objectivity in research when it comes to whatever you're doing? Because some people would say, okay, Professor Anupama may not be critical of Shah Rukh Khan when he has done something wrong.
That's a good question. This is where, our PhDs, our training, I went to the University of California, Berkeley, where I got my PhD. We are trained to do research. So what we do as professors, and this is how we train our students as well, is to take these cultural materials, for example, a film star like Shah Rukh Khan, and place them in a historical, political, aesthetic context. And that is only possible with research. So we look at primary sources, and sometimes there are interviews, sometimes there are materials from a film set, for example. Sometimes there's other information. Work on costume, for example, looks at what work went into the making of a costume. That is hard data. So we combine hard data with cultural analysis. If I were to put it simply, it's not just an opinion. It's actually based in research.
Okay, so there is no problem when you have an emotional attachment towards a character. It's not going to affect the authenticity of your research.
Right. In fact, that can become the basis, the trigger for the research. Right? Why is Shah Rukh Khan so popular in Nigeria is a question I want to research today.
Yeah, that's great. And I'll be delighted to support you with any information, any data you're looking for. If you want to do any research about Bollywood in Nigeria, you can count on me to serve as your research assistant. We've been doing that a lot.
So I would have questions about where his films are watched, who are his biggest fans, what age group. I know women love Shah Rukh Khan.
Yes.
That I know, but I'm curious if there's a kind of populace in Nigeria that is particularly attached to Shah Rukh Khan.
Well, I think, like I said in the introduction, so what we're going to do is that our viewers are going to see a totally different style of interview from the ones that they have been watching on my channel. In this case, my viewers, I'm going to be asking Professor questions about Bollywood, about Shah Rukh Khan, and she's also going to ask me because she's doing a research and she wants to find out how popular Shah Rukh Khan is in Nigeria. So it's going to be a talk, not an interview. While, okay, I talk, she talks, and so on and so on. So Shah Rukh Khan, first of all, to start with, is okay, by far the most celebrated, most popular Indian star in Nigeria, especially in the 21st century. Right from the 90s up to this moment that we're talking about, Shah Rukh Khan has become more popular, even more popular than, shockingly, Amitabh Bachchan and Dharmendra, because those people that were born in the 80s and they turned 10 years 15 years in the 90s, they started watching Shah Rukh Khan. They watched Bazigar, they watched Divana, they watched Dar, they watched Badshah in 1999. So they saw what Shah Rukh Khan was capable of, how he was able to penetrate into the hearts and minds of everyone, particularly the younger generations. Even the elderly people, you'll be surprised if I tell you. Now, in Kano State, where I was born and where I have grown up, currently I'm speaking to you from Abuja, the capital city of Nigeria, where I'm currently working as a political journalist, host of the PAP show, a political talk show in Abuja. But where I've grown up in Kano, there are pockets of groups of fans of Bollywood that identify with different characters. So now there's an association called Bollywood Fans of Nigeria. There's another one called Dostana. There are a couple of others that whose name I cannot remember. So, and among those groups, there are people who are fans of Shah Rukh Khan and they have formed a subgroup. Okay, and those fans of Amir Khan, fans of Salman Khan. In fact, there are fans of Hrithik Roshan. He's not that very popular, but there are fans of Hrithik Roshan and a couple of others. Atif Aslam has his own fan group. Arjit Singh also, and so on and so forth. So Shah Rukh Khan, yes, and there's one more group that I've forgotten. A group of elderly people. They are very old people. One of them that I know of personally was a Nigerian ambassador, a diplomat, full ambassador. He even served as Nigerian High Commissioner in Delhi. He served in Egypt, I think, and he served in the UAE. So he belongs to that group. There are 60 years, 70 years, 80 years. There's even a guy who is like an 80-year-old man, and he belongs to that group. So what they do is that they have a WhatsApp group, and they talk about the what's the word, nostalgia, right? They bring back the nostalgic memories of when they were young people going to the cinemas, watching, listening to the music, Muhammad Rafi, and all those guys of the olden days, watching Dharmendra, Amitabh Bachchan, Rishi Kapoor, and so on and so forth. So they are the fans of those people, and now they have formed a WhatsApp group, and they talk about that every single day. 2 weeks ago, was it 2 weeks ago? I think barely 10 days ago, there is a program. Okay, also in our radio stations, we have local radio stations in Kano State where I've grown up, and each radio station has a specific program dedicated to Bollywood fans. It's sometimes a phone-in program. People will call and say, "Okay, I want you to play, let's say, a song from Japta Kejan, and and please." My regards. Okay, that song is dedicated to this and that, my father, my mother, my lovely, my wife, and so on and so forth. So one day, barely 2 weeks ago, Muzammil Ibrahim Yakasei, the presenter of that program, played a lot of old Bollywood songs, 60s, 70s, 80s. And do you know what happened? Some of those elderly people called him on the program live and started shedding tears.
Oh, wow.
Shedding tears. Because he was reminding them of those old good days and also reminding him, okay, like if to say a song from Sholay was played, and I remember a friend of mine that we used to go to the cinema to watch that film with countlessly, and that friend has died. So that song will trigger that emotional memory, nostalgic
Right.
memory. And I will remember that friend of mine, I will start shedding tears. That was what happened.
Exactly. And this is what I mean by affective. We
Mm.
have an emotional relationship with stars.
Yes, that
That
it's true. We have an emotional relationship with the stars, and what will surprise you is that those people, okay, especially the younger generation, what they do is that whenever their star is celebrating a birthday, they will gather, raise some money, gather, have some cake, make some cake, and they will cut the cake celebrating that star's birthday. There was a time 2 years ago when Shah Rukh Khan celebrated his 58th, I think, birthday. And my friend Musa Khan, we call him Musa Khan, Musa San Aliyu, and his friends gathered. They made a cake, they cut, and they took pictures. They tagged Shah Rukh Khan on social media, and he retweeted using that picture. Shah Rukh Khan, he retweeted using that picture, and we can all see our friends in that picture.
I
Um,
would love to see that.
yeah, definitely. I'll get the picture and send it to you. And if whenever you are available, I can gather some of those young people. We can do a Zoom interview with them. You ask them questions, they answer, and they also ask you questions. I think this would definitely help your research also.
Definitely. And I'm hearing from you as you speak that stars also create a sense of community. Now, this obviously is a group of older
Mm,
people who remember these moments. And the cutting of the cake that you mentioned, I mean,
mm,
that is a community moment
mm,
that's bringing people together because they share love for their favorite star, Shah Rukh
mm.
Khan.
Yeah, sure.
And what I'm also very struck by as you speak is that Badshah and all of these Shah Rukh Khan movies, and earlier I mentioned the song Diwangi from Om Shanti Om.
Mm.
These are household names. I'm shocked. And it's in Nigeria. I mean, I'm delighted.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Definitely, we have got to learn about Bollywood a lot. Number one, when we were children, the national TV that we have, NTA, Nigerian Television Authority, used to play an Indian movie every weekend. And then in our state, there is the state TV channel, which also used to play one Indian movie every Sunday. So Saturday and Sunday would be like a family meeting, reunion, and everyone would sit down and watch. And especially those 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s Bollywood films, they were very family friendly, not like the ones that we see these days, with a lot of Americanism in them, a lot of indecency because we are Muslims. And we can connect with the conservative Indians that are very shy, decent, they cover their bodies and so on and so forth, but not like the Jo Me Jo Patan Mehri Bab. Like that song is a crazy one. I haven't watched the video one, and the other one that has been heavily criticized by the Indians. The other song from Patan. So we can connect, we can relate because those people, those Indians, those movies in those days were similar to our culture. There's also this guy that I want you to meet whenever you're available. He's my biggest mentor. His name is Professor Abdallah Uba Adamu. He is one of the most prolific film study professors in Nigeria, and he looks at the relationship between Bollywood and our local film industry in northern Nigeria. Because I have forgotten to tell you, Bollywood is more popular in northern Nigeria. Northern Nigeria, the southern people have been influenced by the Hollywood because of the popularity of the English language and the Western culture in the south, and they have their own big film industry. It's called Nollywood. That's the Nigerian film industry, and they speak English. So it's like the elite one. But this one that we have in northern Nigeria from Kano, where I've grown up, is a local film industry. So Professor Abdullah looks at how Bollywood, your films, have influenced our local film industry. So I'm sure you will. And he's even writing a book called The Cult of Khans. the cult of
Amazing.
Khans, how those Khans, the three Khans, have influenced the mentality of our younger generation. And he's blending in with the young people, talking to them. That's the research method he's applied. Talking to them, asking them questions, attending their events, those cutting of cake, those Eid events,
Mhm.
anniversaries, and so on and so forth, of Bollywood stars and so on. He attends those things and he talks to them. He listens to them. That's the approach he has adopted in writing his book. So I'm sure you'll be happy to talk to him.
That's actually one of my questions. I'm glad you brought that up, which is how does your own local film industry, how does that, what is the relationship, in other words, between
Mm,
your local film industries, and it sounds like there's a couple of them in
mm,
Nigeria,
mm,
and Bollywood, and how has that changed over the years? Uh, are they in competition with each other,
mm,
or sounds like sometimes they draw inspiration from each other
mm.
also?
Well, that's a very nice question. Before we started this interview, for the second time, I watched Farid Zakaria's interview with Shah Rukh Khan, made in 2014, I think, or 15. Farid is yours, is an Indian American. I like him. I like his analysis on CNN. So he interviewed, in the introduction of that interview, he said, India is the only country where Hollywood, the American film industry, is struggling to compete with the local film industry. And I like this categorization. I really love it. The Indians are very united, so united that they prioritize their own productivity, their own product than any imported one from the West. So to answer your question, our local film industry is called Kannywood, Kannywood, Kannywood. And the Kani is from the word Kanu, our state. So it's not in competition. To be honest with you, we have to say it. Our film industry has been influenced heavily by Bollywood to the extent that most of the films that are made in our own place in Kano have been influenced, inspired by one Bollywood film or the other, specifically, or by extension by the whole Bollywood industry. I'll give you examples. Singing and dancing is a very common feature of Bollywood. It also exists in our films or Kannywood movies. Um, then love triangle, very common example, common feature of Bollywood. It's also there in our films. Marriage, divorce, jealousy, all those things, family values. Yes, we have our own, but then we have also copied from the Bollywood, and by extension, we feel culturally that Hausa culture, our culture, is very much connected to the Indian culture. Earlier, I was talking about decency, covering of head, dressing very modestly and decently without appearing half naked or something like that. So that was why when we started consuming the Indian films, we said, okay, these are films that are similar to our values and culture, so let us embrace them. Okay, that's it. So that's very important, that's interesting. Yet Professor Abdullah wrote about the imperialism from below. That's the name of his book, The Imperialism from Below. We've been talking, I don't know, in mass communication, there's this magic bullet theory and so on and so forth. Those theories that are to the traditional mass communication theories and so on and so forth. We were thinking that America and Hollywood, American culture, American imperialism, and Hollywood has been used to export the Americanism and impose them on us. This time around, Professor Abdullah looked at it from a different angle. It's not America that is like above imposing its own whatever on us. It's now the Bollywood, or okay, the global South countries, mainly India, using Bollywood, penetrating us and sort of creating a kind of culture of influence on our people. We don't know, but we've been influenced by the Indians. Now, during weddings, there is an Indian night in which the groom and the bride will dress like Indians. She will wear sari, he will wear the Indian gown, and so on and so forth. And there will be Indian music, Indian dances, okay, going on. But that's just it.
And another example of a community event built around Indian cinema. Like,
Yes,
not it.
yes, definitely. Yes, definitely. This is to show you how heavily influential Bollywood has become to our people in our land. So the thing is that yes, our film industry from northern Nigeria has been influenced, and there are movies that have been not dubbed but copied from the Indians. I was doing a research. In fact, I will refer you to an interview, a panel interview I had with your friend, Professor Tejaswini Ganti of New York
Yes.
University 2 years ago, I think, or 3 years ago. And I got an actor from our local film industry, and I got a professor from our university, and we talked about how Indian films have been copied by our film industry and how Indians have copied from Hollywood and so on.
One of the other questions I had was how streaming media, and now everything's on Netflix. Here in the US, theatrical audiences are declining. There aren't as many people in the theaters. That started with COVID, and then it's gotten worse because of all of the streaming platforms that are available. And also, there's just a lot more content available now.
Yes, yes.
Cinema is not the only content that people are watching. So, has this affected Shah Rukh Khan's popularity or Bollywood's popularity in Nigeria? Is one of my questions.
Well, in northern Nigeria, where I have grown up, we do not have the culture of going to cinema, the cinema going culture. In fact, those years when I told you earlier about the elderly people remembering those days when they were going to the cinema. In fact, those cinemas were okay. Going to the cinema in our conservative culture was considered as a taboo, not like taboo, but as something that used to be highly discouraged, because the dominant people that were going to cinema at that time were those people with questionable characters, those people that the smokers, those people drug addicts, people who just like were not the respected members of the society. So children were dissuaded from, were seriously banned from going to the cinema. If you are 18 below, if you are below 18, even the cinema operators would not allow you to enter because of the fear that you would learn smoking. You would learn all sorts of gambling also was there, and in Islam gambling is haram, is prohibited. You would learn all sorts of terrible attitudes. So cinema is not that popular. And in fact, to be honest with you, in Kano State where I am, there are not many cinemas right now. I have seen, I think, one or two that are now a little bit functional, but they are not as okay. Cinema in northern Nigeria, particularly in Kano, where I've grown up, is not as it is in India. That's it, and is not as it is in the United States and Europe and where you have been to. So literally no. So what? How do we watch Bollywood films? We watch at home. We watch at home. Number one, number two, there are there are places that we call viewing centers. There were, because now they no longer exist. They're only now there to watch football. So the viewing centers are places where people go and they will play an Indian film and they will watch it. So it's not like the real cinema thing, but locally made cinema. But right now they don't do it. I haven't seen a single one doing it these days. So people watch at home. Okay.
So, would it be fair to say, sorry, do you want to continue?
I said people now watch at home. That's it.
Uh-huh. Thank you. So, would it be fair to say that uh, the rise of streaming media and the internet in general? I know you were watching on video, in the 80s, for example, 80s, 90s, video would have been the place to watch.
Even in early 2000s.
Correct. And given, I imagine that the number of theaters in Nigeria is actually a very small number compared to India, which has a large number of movie theaters.
Yes.
So that's one difference. So perhaps the rise of the internet and the rise of streaming platforms has helped the circulation of Bollywood in Nigeria.
Yes.
And it sounds like the two industries, that is local Nigerian film industries and Bollywood, are not competing with each other, but in some ways they're feeding off of each other and they're growing together.
Yes.
Would that be fair?
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes I would say, to be fair, some of the movies that we watch are pirated copies, not the original ones coming from India. And there are websites, as you know, even the American films are suffering from that. Websites that give you access to pirated copies. You just use your internet to download them and watch HD version of even Tom Cruise movies of Mission Impossible and Top Gun and so on and so forth. So
Exactly.
even the Indian movies, we watch them through that, definitely.
Exactly. And those bootlegged or pirated copies have always been the way in which people have found the films that they want to see. And in some ways, the rise of Netflix, and I don't know if there are other streaming platforms in Nigeria, for example, that's another question I have. They have kind of made it official. They have reduced piracy, they have reduced the circulation of bootleg copies because that way they have control over the profits, control over how the films circulate.
Yeah.
So are there local streaming platforms in Nigeria, for example?
Well, you're talking about the streaming service. I'm just Googling and I've seen there is Prime Video. There is Netflix. Well, okay. I know of Netflix because earlier you spoke to my boss, Usman Kabara. I was visiting his house and we gathered together with his family to watch Netflix. And one of the things that I watched, I asked him to play for me was that Dave Letterman interview or documentary with Shah Rukh Khan on Netflix. So I just managed to see a trailer and a couple of promo videos on YouTube, but the full interview is on Netflix. So I asked him to play it. So we use his own large smart TV in his parlor to watch it, and that's how I got to watch the whole of the documentary. So people at elite levels, those who have money, who are highly educated also, and who know the value of Netflix, the streaming services Netflix, aka, are the ones using Netflix and other streaming services. But locally, people don't use that. So they wait until they have access, until somebody has downloaded a pirated copy, and then he would send it to them, and they would watch, and they would be spreading through an application called Zenda. They would just be, okay, I will send it to you, you send it to me. And now there is Telegram also. Telegram, gives you access to unlimited. There are Telegram channels where you just go and pay a stipend, a small amount of money to and get a HD copy of any film, not just Bollywood, but any film that you know. So these are very important. And there's one interesting thing that you need to know. Now, dubbing industry in northern Nigeria is booming. And that's another way of having access and getting connected to Bollywood. We have people that sit down and they translate Indian movies into Hausa, our language. But guess what? The movies that sell, that are more popular, are the ones from the south, the Telugu films and the Tamil ones. Now we know, because of that, thanks to the dubbing industry, now we know Nandamuri Taraka Ramarao, NTR. We know Ramcharan and his father, Charanjeevi. We know Prabhas. We know Allu Arjun. We know what's the name of the other white guy, Mahesh Babu. We know all
Mhm.
those guys because of the dubbing, and this is because our people love action films. That's the answer.
Right. No, that's wonderful. So it's very clear. I mean, it's true in India as well. Netflix is high end. It's not affordable to a lot of people in India,
Mm,
and there are, it's a global giant, but India has its own streamers.
mm,
For example, Geo Studios is one.
mm,
Z has been around for a very long time,
mm,
and I don't know if Z as a channel is available in Nigeria.
mm.
So there
Z
are all
World,
of
yeah,
Z
there is Z World.
Yes, Z
Z
World,
World,
exactly.
even though they play TV series that have been
They
dubbed
have their
in
own
English.
material as well. They
Mm,
promote their own content. But this is where it becomes very interesting. The creation of not only pirated copies, but parallel, parallel media that are needed in order for these films to circulate. And that's also a way of uh, not letting Netflix control what people see, because
mm,
you actually would not see as much material if Netflix controlled everything.
mm. Yeah, definitely, it's true. I think
So,
it's
so
true. Yeah.
I'm
So,
very excited to hear that people have found new ways. Earlier, it would have been piracy.
mm,
Earlier, it would have been other ways of doing this, and now people are using apps to
mm.
circulate.
Yeah, like Telegram. So if maybe Bollywood can have a Telegram channel, an official Telegram channel, or each production company, let's say Yash Raj Film Production Company, whatever they call it, is it YRF, right? Yash Raj Film. If they can have a dedicated channel, Telegram channel, and be selling the movies, including the old ones and the new ones that they make, I think that would go a long way in also boosting the what do you call it, box office, right? The box office of
Absolutely,
the,
and
yeah.
exactly, and this, of course, is working with the telecom industries, right? Just data, how
Mm,
much data you can use,
mm,
right?
yeah.
All of that is connected, and I think they'd make a lot of money if they were actually able to tap into some of these sources. And one of the other interesting facts, as I'm hearing you speak, is that Hollywood actually depends on its international circulation for much of its revenue. The domestic revenue of Hollywood films is smaller compared to its global revenue. So I don't think that's the same in the case of Bollywood. So it's interesting that there's almost as much money that they're making in India, but of course, money that Indian films make outside of India is increasingly becoming a very important factor
Mm.
in how Bollywood is made, Bollywood movies are made and marketed.
But
Uh,
I'm sorry, before you ask your next question, but we have been made to believe that Bollywood movies, how should I phrase this question? The box office internally at home in India is more important than the outside India box office collection.
traditionally, but some of the big films, the big stars that you're mentioning now, their global profit, the films that they make globally, is very, very important in the success, how the success of a film is measured. Traditionally, of course, it is. This is how it's different from Hollywood. That's why I'm making this point,
Hmm.
that the domestic profits and the domestic appeal. It's not just profit. How the films do in India is a very important part of why the films are made.
Okay.
But because now it has grown so much as an industry, and it has, South Asian or Indian diaspora across the world
Hmm.
who are part of, the audiences,
Yes.
but international audiences are also now watching these films and consuming these films.
Okay.
And that has meant that the numbers, how many crores it makes outside of India, have become very, very important in how the films are made.
Okay. But traditionally, like you said, films are more valued at home because they were traditionally in those days meant to target the local audiences. But right now, the movies have turned into Indian films that are both appealing at home and also abroad, right?
Exactly.
That's
Exactly. And I'm glad you mentioned the Telugu film industry. Now it's become as very big. It has always been very strong in the South. And one of the films that I'm working on, RRR, I don't know if you've seen that.
yeah,
That has
RRR,
Charan.
Ram
Charan.
Charan and NTR.
Yes. Tarak. Yes.
Yeah, Nandamuri Taraka Ram Rao.
Correct.
His name
So
is funny. I like pronouncing the name.
I'm very curious how that film has been received.
Well, it's personally I've not watched the film, but I have seen how people have talked about it, and maybe we need to have a separate program to talk about RRR. I need to do my homework, need to do my research, talk to the right people about it, and then give you data. And if you want, I can also bring up a couple of one or two people to help provide context. But on the whole, having RRR, I think the first Indian Indian movie to win an Oscar, right? Am I right? The first
Mhm.
is an interesting is a story, because as a journalist, anything that is unusual, anything that is new is news. So this is news, a very good one from India, that you have this Indian film that is epic, that is historical, and getting an Oscar. Okay, what happens is that it's telling us, it's confirming to us that the movies that make a lot of sense and that get a lot of the awards that they deserve, are those movies mostly about history, mostly about culture, not films that will be copying the Americans. So when you have, like, okay, Patan is a huge success, but when you have an Indian film, for example, I cannot think about any name, maybe you can help me, that is copying an American film, or maybe it's copying Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible, or is copying Top Gun of of Tom Cruise, or any.
It's not going to appeal, yes.
Yeah. So is going to appeal to a lot of people, but is not going to be as respected as those films that are depicting history and culture. And I think RRR is an example. Am I right?
Yes, you're right. It's also an action film. Like
Mhm.
you said, action is a very, very popular genre. So I think it speaks to people because it's very much an Indian story, what you're saying.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
It's an Indian story. It's in the format of song and dance, which is also very important. I
Mm,
think this is what also distinguishes Indian cinema from Hollywood is the use of song and dance. It's,
yes.
all of the other elements, like there is star appeal. I think stars are a very important part of this
Mm,
process.
mm,
Songs and dances, costumes, periods, right?
mm,
Period drama, right?
yes.
The use of
Mm,
the period as an element in the story
yes.
that I think is appealing to audiences in Nigeria.
Mm,
And
yeah,
for
definitely. Yes.
me, as I hear you, it's almost as if I'm talking to somebody in India who's talking about their love of Shah Rukh Khan. I don't see a difference in how you talk about these images.
Wow,
So
that's
that's
good.
very striking to me that there's a cultural appeal that is based on the Indianness of the content
Mm,
that translates very well to Hausa
yes.
audiences.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I was basically, going back to how well Indian films translate to Hausa audiences, and that's because of the use of
Mm,
Indian themes in Indian style of storytelling, Indian stars, right? These are the elements that I think work very well.
mm,
And I think what is unique about Shah Rukh Khan is
mm.
that he's unapologetically Indian. I don't think it's
Yes.
an accident that he's not done a Hollywood role because I think if he were to do something for Hollywood cinema, that would change his star image, and he would have to do something that is not Indian. Uh, I think he speaks to global audiences, precisely because he's so unapologetically Indian.
Mm.
He's not afraid to use, an Indian style of acting, right? Which can seem over the top. It can seem hammy to some people, right? It's not. Some people will say it's not natural. It's and in film studies, we will say it's stylized, right? It's stylized.
Yes.
But then that's what makes him so accessible. That's the secret of his appeal. That he does not hold back in being Indian.
Yeah, that's good. I like that, and I like that about him.
Gives all of himself, all of himself.
Yeah, sure.
Does not hold back.
So that brings me to this question. Shah Rukh Khan is a Muslim, married to Hindu, and his children are said to be just Indian. They don't identify as Muslim or Hindus or Christians, whatever. And so that makes his life very complicated and very complex. I don't know. Okay, what sort of backlash is he facing from the Hindus? I know the Hindus, some Hindus, especially those with the hyper nationalistic viewpoint, those that are called the Hindu nationalists, the BJP guys, the Narendra Damodar Das Modi's guys, some of them may not accept him because simply he's a Muslim. I know how they are sometimes politically. And I don't know, give us an example. How has Shah Rukh Khan managed to appeal to everyone in India? And in the process of doing that, what sort of sacrifices has he had to make for him to achieve that? And still, is he still like okay, comfortable? Or there are still a couple of challenges? I'm sure you're going to give us an example of what happened with his son, Aryan Khan, in 2021. So give us the picture now.
Yes, this is, I think, becoming more important now in his career. I don't think when he started, uh, think about, the work that he did in the television serial Fauji, that, got him noticed for the first time and then got him, his first film roles. So when he was doing films like Bazigar and Dar and Deewana, he was not really talked about as a Muslim star at that time because the climate in India was very different at that time. And I think that has stayed with him, this popular appeal that cuts across age, that cuts across gender, cuts across religion. That has always been a part of his appeal. However, post 9/11, now we know globally things have changed.
Yes, of course.
For Islam as a religion.
Yes.
And that's when the shift begins to happen in his career also, where he has to address it. And at first, he only addresses it through his films. My Name is Khan is a very good example, where he kind of takes it head on, but uses the cinema to kind of dispel the notion that religion should be a way of deciding whether a person is good or bad. I mean, that's one of the questions in the film. Are you a good person or are you a bad person? And Chak De is another film that directly addresses this. But again, it's all through the medium of cinema that he takes this question on. By the time we come to a film like Race, it's much more full on, where that is one of his most unapologetic roles, where he is playing a Muslim, a Gujarati Muslim. One of yes, Race.
2016.
Yes, right. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it, but I know a couple of stuff about it, and there's that popular song Zalima from that movie.
Zalima.
Yeah, and it has been heavily debunked and criticized, the film, by some people because of the role that he played.
Right. So, but you start to see a shift in terms of how the audiences get a little segmented, the fans get a little divided in terms of how they talk about these films, because the conditions, cultural conditions, religious conditions around him and around film stars have begun to change in India. In fact,
mm,
the film industry, when it starts out in the 50s, is it's actually filled with people from IPTA, the Indian People's Theatres Association.
mm.
That's a very secular, creative group,
Yes.
and if you see a film like Amar Akbar Anthony, which I'm sure you've seen, Amitabh
Yeah.
Bachchan
Yes.
work, you see that secularism very much in evidence. But things begin to shift only, I would say, in the mid 2000s, and then continue up until Pathan. So, in
Mm,
Pathan, for example, that's another example where I think he kind of has moved on even from Rais and is very much kind of, again, unapologetic for who he is,
mm,
also confident that he can cut through some of the divisions, the cracks that have appeared, because those
mm.
cracks have,
Yes.
they were not there when he started his
Yeah.
career.
Yes. But
So
okay. Yeah.
that's the archival trace.
Mm,
I think Pathan was like a victory statement almost, a kind of reemergence, especially given what was happening with his son, given what was going on. Otherwise, the factions that have become much more evident,
mm,
right? The divisions that have become much more evident, religious divisions.
mm,
He's able to cut through that.
mm,
So I would not say that it has held him back,
mm,
but in some ways, he also is now, you can tell he's not making as many media appearances, for
mm.
example, as
Yeah.
he used to 5 to 10 years ago. So he's cut down on some of those appearances to manage some of the
The
uh,
tension.
tensions around this. That's a good word.
Yeah.
Yes.
And is it true that okay, I don't know. Is it true that now he in India there are many people who don't like him because of who he is right now? And I don't know, has he even more has he recently even identified more as a Muslim? Because he has been identified as just an Indian. He doesn't talk about Islam. He doesn't show the world that he's a devout Muslim who prays 5 times a day every day, who is so concerned about spreading the Islam, I mean the religion of Islam through the media space that he has because of his celebrity thing and so on and so forth. But still, that's why I asked you earlier about the sacrifices that he has had to make. Someone told me that Shah Rukh Khan has had to, uh, I don't know, give up his religiousness. Has had to make some sacrifices in the sense that he doesn't normally talk about religion. He just talks about movies. He just talks about India and so on and so forth.
That's right. I mean, any public figure, especially politicians or stars, I think wouldn't it be a dream if you did not have to talk about your religion all the time? I think that's a gift that Shah Rukh Khan has,
Mm,
that he does not have to talk about being a Muslim all the time. I think that makes him a very unique film star. Everybody knows that he's born a Muslim, but
mhm,
in the current climate, let's just think about stars as people who have to maintain their appeal. In order to maintain his appeal, he cannot make very, very pointed statements about his religion. So, I mean, if you want to think about that as a sacrifice, yes, but I really want to think about it in terms of how he remains accessible to all religions.
mm,
If he identifies with one religion or one age group or one gender,
mm.
that will reduce his appeal.
Okay.
He has to find work, right? He's also
Yes.
aged now. He's just turned 60.
Mm-hmm.
Does not have the availability of roles that he would have had
Mm.
as a younger man.
Yes, yes.
So, in order to stay current, I think he has to walk this very careful line,
Mm.
and
But
he's doing it.
but
He's doing it.
despite all the sacrifices, we have seen how the Indians have turned their backs against him. They still don't like him. So some people would say from our own circle that he should have just for long identified as as Muslim, because despite what he has done, they still don't like him. So what's the worth? Was it worth it being the way he has been? Or now he must have been internally regretting. I'll give you an example. A lot of Muslims have criticized Shah Rukh Khan for being less religious. And this is not because of Shah. This not only applies. Does not only apply to Shah Rukh Khan, but even Amir Khan, Salman Khan, and the rest, including Imran Hashmi and so on and so forth. There are so many things that they do, like the hugging, the kissing, the romance that they do in films. It's totally haram in Islam. And one thing that I've started doing a research looking into, and I will talk to you later about it, is the semantics of the Indian songs, the Bollywood songs. Some of them go far by including some phrases and sentences that seem to us as Muslims as disrespectful of God, disrespectful to God. There's one song from Rabne Banadi Jodi. That's the name of the song. I mean the film. Shah Rukh Khan and Sharma. What's her full name? The one that appeared in PK. Uh,
Anushka.
Anushka
Anushka.
Sharma. Anushka Sharma. Yes, in the song, she says, and he also says, I believe, I see God in you. Okay? To Jimen Rab Dikta Hai. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So he says, I see God in you. Yara men kya karun, my beloved, what should I do? So these are the things. I feel like he was not the one who sang the song. I don't know if I can get the name of the original singer. I don't know, but he was not the one who sang the song. But he danced to the song. Okay, he appears in the movie. We see him and Anushka. As a Muslim, I wouldn't say that. How can I say I see God in my girlfriend? That sounds a bit disrespectful. In our own point of view, in our own worldview, in our own perception. I don't know. So Muslims, maybe some Muslims would criticize Shah Rukh Khan if they know what he has said here, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question. Here's what I would think of, when I listen to that song. I grew up in India. I speak Hindi, which has a lot of Urdu words, and this is a reminder of the secular roots of the Bollywood film industry,
Mm,
where we had a lot of lyricists who were writing in Urdu
mm,
or in Hindustani. If
mm,
you listen to interviews with Javed Akhtar, one of the
mhm.
lyricists, very prominent lyricist
I know
of
him. Javed
songs.
Akhtar. I know him.
Exactly. So it's not only tied to Islam, but a common shared culture. Some
Mm,
of these words were not identified as specifically Muslim,
mm.
right?
Yeah.
And there's a shared vision. And this is also the answer to your earlier question. I think, and I was listening to an interview with Farah Khan, who
Mm,
directed Om Shanti Om.
mm.
She said, I don't like it when people call me a woman film director. I am a director, that's all.
Feminism.
Why does the word female or woman have to be attached to the word director? Am
Mm,
I a lesser director because or
mm.
a better director simply because I'm a woman? And
Yeah.
I think Shah Rukh Khan's relationship with religion has also been secular, because this is the legacy with which all of us have grown up.
Yes.
So to be identified only as Muslim is puts a different spin on identity. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We all like to believe that we are part of a multicultural, multi-ethnic identity, and
Mm.
we don't want to be tied only to one specific identity. So I think being Muslim and being Indian are always kind of in dialogue with each other.
Okay.
And Shah Rukh Khan is an Indian, but he's also Muslim at the same time,
Mm.
and they don't have to be separate for him.
Mm. But why is it that people like Atif Aslam have not been accepted by the Indians. They've been resisted. Atif Aslam is a singer from Pakistan, and he has sung in a lot of prominent Bollywood movies. One of the songs that he has one song from in Tiger Zinda Hai. His songs are in films like what do you call it? Genius 2018. That boy who appeared in Gadar. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, was the actor of the film. His song is there. His song is in Tiger Zinda Hai, which was made in 2017. Dil Diyan Galan, that's the name of the song. He has a song in Race 2 or Race 3, I think, of the husband of Kareena Kapoor, Saif Ali Khan. He has a lot of
Mm-hmm.
beautiful songs, but we have seen how he has been rejected by the Indians simply, I believe, a lot of people believe, simply because he's a Muslim and he's a Pakistani, even though he has done a lot of incredible stuff for the industry. So religion is a very serious thing in India.
It absolutely,
Or we would say Islam is a very sensitive thing in India.
it is very sensitive, no doubt about it. But honestly, it's a little bit like, what you were describing about how Shah Rukh Khan is popular with Hausa audiences.
Mm.
I know that Indians would listen to these songs. A lot of Indians, they're probably listening to them in their cars, in their houses, right?
Mm.
And some of these larger debates that are waged, in the public eye,
Mm.
has something to do with cultural monopoly, right? We were
Mm.
just talking about how Netflix has, it's more expensive, right?
Yes.
It has something to do with how laws are laid in terms of how media circulate,
Mm.
what the rules are. Like copyright is an issue. I think Tejaswini Kanti and you also talked about how copyright is a little bit
Yes.
different in
Yeah.
India,
Yeah. Professor
right?
Tejaswini. Yeah.
Exactly. So then, when we start talking about why he's not allowed to perform in India or why Pakistani actors are not allowed to work in India, then we're getting into those legal parameters.
Okay. Mm.
But I think audiences like to listen to these songs. And if they had a choice, they would listen to them. But how the laws control what is allowed and what is not allowed is a separate question.
Okay, and that puts a lot of doubt in the minds of the people about the secularism of India, right?
Yes, and I know definitely in recent years that has been um, something that has shifted. The secular fabric of the nation has shifted. Uh,
Uh,
but again, we
Yeah.
have our films. We have our films that will then either not be secular in
Mm.
terms of how they create stories
Mm.
or be secular. Now, culture is always, you've read Stuart Hall, is always a matter of negotiation. And all of these identity issues are being negotiated constantly at
Mm.
a cultural level through the
Okay.
cinema, through our stars, through stars like Shah Rukh Khan.
That's great.
So, for example, his global popularity versus some of the Muslim, perhaps discontent in India,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
Uh, they are in a relationship with each other. It's not only one thing.
Mm.
They're constantly in dialogue with each other.
Mm. Yes.
And
Okay.
I think it's important to remember that.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
stars help us to perform these negotiations.
Mm. Yeah, sure.
What it means for him to be a Muslim, I think that's also an important part, now becoming an important part of how his films are watched.
Yes.
Nigeria, is that correct?
Yes,
Do
definitely.
they see him as a Muslim star?
Yeah, a lot of people like him because he's a Muslim star. A lot of people like Amir Khan, Salman Khan because they are also Muslims. Um, but yeah, again, that's why it's interesting. A lot of people don't like them because they are Muslims. Because there are people who also like Akshay Kumar. I always give an example of Osman Solo. He is one of the people in the forefront of the Bollywood movement in Kano State. His name is Osman Solo. He once said in radio, in one of those Bollywood related programs, that if you love a Bollywood actor simply because he's a Muslim, you are deceiving yourself, because they are not as devout Muslims as you would want them to be, or as most of us are, because they're doing so many things that appear to be contrary to Islam. We love them because purely of entertainment. We love them because they are entertaining us, because they are movie stars doing what we want to see in movies, in the film. That's it. It's purely entertainment. It has got nothing to do with the religion. So I believe, simply because his favorite actor is Akshay Kumar. So I believe he said that so people would not attack him for liking a guy who is Hindu while he's a Muslim. And it's true, whether we believe it or not, whether we say it or not, whether we accept it or not. We love those guys not because of their religiousness or because of their religion, or religiosity. We love them purely because of entertainment. If you ask me my favorite female star, I would say Katrina Kaif. It's not because her father or I don't know, is a Pakistani Muslim, I don't know, and her mother is British. No, I don't know if I'm right, but I like her because I have seen what she has done in Ekta Tiger, in Tiger Zindahe, and subsequently in Tiger 3. She proves to the world that she can be like Angelina Jolie of Hollywood. She can be like Megan Boone, who appears in Blacklist as Elizabeth King. She can be as Maggie Q. Maggie Q, because her role in Nikita, which was made between 2012 and 13, is an epic one. A spy agent, doing a lot of action, leading a role. Okay, so she's showing the world in that film that she can do an action similar to those female actresses in Hollywood, similar to what they are doing. So that's why I like her, because I'm that type of person who consume not only Bollywood, but I consume a lot of Hollywood films, and I don't watch the romantic ones. I go for the action ones that are thriller, spy thrillers. I've watched 24, I've watched Blacklist, Blind Spot, Nikita. There are so many spy thrillers that I have watched, Jack Ryan, and so on and so forth. So when I see Bollywood tilting towards doing spy thrillers like Agent Vinod 2012 of Saif Ali Khan and Karina, and then the other one, Phantom of 2015, which has a lot of politics that I'm interested in, the Indian Pakistani politics. And subsequently I watched Tiger Zindahe. So when I see Bollywood tilting towards doing spy thrillers, and now we see more of them coming from the south, I become very much interested. So these are the types of films that I normally watch. So it's not like we love Shah Rukh Khan because he's a Muslim. No, alone. A lot of people would say, some people would say, yes, they like Shah Rukh Khan because he's a Muslim, but they have been told recently, that they have been made to know, to believe recently, that those guys are not as quote unquote devout Muslims as many people are in northern Nigeria. So we just like them because of entertainment.
So this is again an interesting detail that you're sharing with me. So stars are very interesting phenomena, because we think we know them because we watch so much of what they do, and we love the movies that they make. But it's still not a relationship with a human being. It's a relationship with an image that we all love. So, and that's the paradox of the star.
Okay.
We become attached to them as if they were our own friends or our own family. We form relationships with them. However, if we don't really know them as people.
Yes.
We don't, and we cannot.
Because we see them in TV, we see them on our screens, and we don't have this personal, physical connection with them. But
This, yeah,
but
don't you think it's interesting?
they talk to
Yeah,
the,
it's
they
a
attend events.
paradox. it's a paradox. And now we feel closer than ever to them because they're on Twitter, or they're on X, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
or they're on social media. And sometimes they do these interviews for fans.
Mm.
So we feel like they're very close to us, but they are not. And you know what their job is? Their job is to make us feel close to them. And I think
Mm.
Shah Rukh Khan is very, very good at that. This is what I've been arguing throughout. That is the secret of his appeal. He makes everyone feel as if he's talking only to them
Yes,
and
yes,
there's nobody else in the room.
yes,
Now,
yes.
don't you think if he identified with a particular religion or particular community, that would that would reduce his appeal? That would kind of make him, very sort of define him in terms of a single identity. And I think that's dangerous for stars.
Mm.
So he tries to protect his image, and he tries to protect himself from being too closely identified with any one identity.
Mm. Yes, yes.
He has to be universal. This is what I'm
Yes,
saying. He has to be universal.
yes, RK Universal, yes. Politically speaking, diplomatically, geopolitically speaking, I would say this is the type of approach that MBS, Mohammed bin Salman, the crown prince, the de facto leader or ruler of Saudi Arabia, is applying. Now, I think a couple of weeks ago, we saw Shah Rukh Khan, Amir Khan, and Salman Khan in Saudi Arabia. Was it in Saudi Arabia or in Egypt that they met? It was in Saudi Arabia. They met, and that was the first time I think the three of them attended an event, a public event like that, and a lot of people talked about that. And I also was happy simply because they show the world that they are united, they are brothers, they are friends, they are associates, they are allies, and so on and so forth. So now Saudi Arabia, geopolitically and politically speaking, diplomatically speaking, is trying to project itself as a state that is open to everyone, that is open to doing business, doing deals with everyone. And that is why we use the word reform. It's trying to reform itself by what a lot of Muslims have criticized as detaching itself from religion. Saudi Arabia is the birthplace. A lot of people believe that is the birthplace of Islam. That's where the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace be upon him, was born. That's where he lived, and that's where this Islam that we're practicing emanated from. But the reforms that Mohammed bin Salman is making, is introducing, is trying to show the world that Saudi is now tilting towards being more or less like a secular state. A lot of Islamic values have been detached, have been separated from the state. So if you want to have a global appeal now, I understand this is a trend. If you want to have a global appeal, you don't have to, or you should not, or you must not identify with a religion. And especially for Muslims, it's even more complex for them, because if they identify as Muslims, they will be censored. They will not be accepted by everyone, because of the actions of some Muslims, like the Al Qaeda type, like the Boko Haram guys who attack, who kill people in the name of jihad, which in the real Islam is not a jihad they are waging. Because they're also killing the Muslims also, so it's not a jihad. Because of their actions, now Muslims have been misunderstood, misinterpreted, and they are not accepted when they identify as full-blown Muslims. So that is why maybe I may suspect that's one of the reasons why people like Shah Rukh Khan don't want to identify as full, if I can use this Nigerian English, full Muslims. And they are trying to be very careful. And that's why maybe Saudi Arabia is also doing these reforms and trying to show that, hey, we are secular, we are liberal, with this and that, even though they have also been heavily criticized for being authoritarian. And a lot of people have criticized the kingdom for the killing and the murder of Jamal Khashoggi in 2018, because he was very critical of the kingdom. So even though he used to be part of them. So this is very sensitive. But I would say people, Muslims who want to become stars, should learn and emulate your prime minister. I don't know whether you like him, Prime Minister Narendra Damodar Das Modi. I like pronouncing his full name. He is unapologetically Hindu and Hindi. He goes around showing the world that he's very assertive, very strong, and I believe he identifies, I know that, as Hindu. So if and he's still celebrated. Everyone, he is in fact one of the most popular politicians in the world, and I know that. I believe that if I were to meet my president Tinubu in Nigeria, I would say you should learn something from so many things from Prime Minister Modi. So if stars like Shah Rukh Khan can be unapologetically religious, for example, as Modi is thought and believed to be, and still project that our religion has taught us to embrace everyone and respect everyone. So I think that complication and confusion will reduce. I don't know if I'm making sense. What do you think?
I think it's an interest. I would never have connected them, so I'll have to think about this because uh, of what you just said. Um, I think they're two different types of phenomena,
Okay.
and I my own expertise is on Shah Rukh Khan,
Mm.
so um, I would I would I would just say what I said earlier,
Mm.
um, that that you know universal appeal is a very important part of the performance of being a star. However, the climate that we live in, stars are also celebrities who are often called upon to make political statements,
Mm.
and I think they have to tread that very slippery slope
Mm.
between not making controversial political statements
Yes.
and maintaining their appeal as stars. And that can be difficult. And I think Shah Rukh Khan has become more careful in the last few years in order to maintain that balance, is what I would say.
Yeah, no, he is right. So I told you earlier that I have asked, I put out a couple of questions on my social media handles, and
Yes.
I asked people to send in their questions, and I will put them to you. This one, Khadija Usman has sent how many questions? 10 questions. And we don't have time for that. She also realized that there are too many to be asked. This is a whole script, 10 questions, because she and her mother, Khadija Usman, used to be my English student. And I regarded her as a sister, as a friend. I visited her mother, and I saw her mother watching an Indian channel, I think Z World or something like that, or NBC Bollywood. She was watching an Indian film movie, and I asked Khadija after I came out of the room, and I said, "Oh, your mom is also a Bollywood fan?" She said, "Yes, a huge one." And both the daughter and the mother are fans of Shah Rukh Khan, and that's why I want to read this question from Khadija, the daughter, to you. Let me choose one of them. How has Shah Rukh Khan managed to stay humble despite being one of the biggest stars on the planet? Now, the biggest star on the planet, Khadija.
Yeah, I think that's again the secret of his popularity. He's very relatable. My students will say he's very relatable. I have taught Shah Rukh Khan's films in my classes. Many of them are Americans who've not heard of Shah Rukh Khan before. They've not seen his films before.
Mm.
And yet, when I just showed Om Shanti Om in my class, and that's their favorite film because it has Shah Rukh Khan in it. And I think the humility is a very important part of something he has to maintain in order to perform, right? If he let his stardom get to him, that would affect how believable his performances are.
Mm.
So I think his humility is a very important part of uh, how popular he is.
Mm.
You can see there are literally thousands of videos on YouTube where he's hugging fans, he's signing autographs, and that's because he never judges his fans.
That's great. Another, yeah, I appreciate that you answer the questions briefly, because there are a lot of them. Some are even on Facebook. I have to jump over there to see. Another question from Khadija Usman is, what do you think makes people who don't even understand the Hindi language still fall in love with Shah Rukh Khan and his movies. And this is true in northern Nigeria. A lot of us don't understand and don't speak the Hindi language. But whenever a song is being played, we feel it. It penetrates at us. It goes directly to our hearts. And whenever we see Shah Rukh Khan smiling, talking, dancing, performing, we smile, we laugh, we just love him. So the question from Khadija.
Right. So, and I was talking about this in my class when I was talking about songs in Bollywood. The lyrics are so simple. Like, it's poetic, but I don't think it is so complex that you don't understand it. And a lot of it is dance, which is another language that all of us understand. And I think that makes the films very simple.
Okay.
That has been a very important method of how movies are made in India. It has to be simple. If it is too complex, it's not going to have worldwide appeal.
Okay. That's it. I'm trying to also get one more question from another. Yeah. So this one, okay, I don't know. This one is from Nana Khadija, and she just said, please tell us the secret. Shah Rukh Khan's secret. Why is it so popular? What's the secret for his popularity?
I think if you ask him, he'll probably crack a joke.
And as a scholar studying him,
yes,
what do you think are his secrets?
I think he's, again, if you go back to his film Phir Bhi Dil Hai Hindustani, where he has, this song called I'm the Best. He knows he's the best.
Yes.
And he performs like he's the best.
Yeah, sure. So that's the secret. So
that's the secret.
Attempting to be the best. Okay. So let me put this question to you. It's from Amin Abdullahi Ibrahim. He's a journalist in Kano working for Premier Radio. And he's a huge fan of SRK, I believe. And he said, thank you. So let me send, okay, these are the questions. Okay. Many people describe Shah Rukh Khan as not just an actor, but an emotion. What does this say about the power of film and personality in shaping human connection? From Aminu.
Absolutely. I think cinema is the greatest invention of the last 150 years almost now.
Yeah.
And it's because it's able to portray emotions in such an authentic and intimate way. We could be watching a film together with hundreds of people, and yet we could feel that we're the only person in the room because of how we connect with someone like Shah Rukh Khan.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it so unique emotionally. It's an experience that all of us go to, and Shah Rukh Khan will say this he says this in Om Shanti Om, at the end of a long, hard day's work, people are spending whatever money they have so that they can spend a couple of hours with him.
Oh,
that's the emotion, because they want that emotion. They want to experience that emotion.
So again, another question from Amin Abdullah Ibrahim. He says, what lessons can emerging actors and filmmakers learn from his career, from SRK's career journey and approach to storytelling?
I think not to apologize, something I said before, not to apologize for being who you are. Not to apologize for being an Indian in Shah Rukh Khan's case.
Okay, this question is from Ali Baba. He's a PhD scholar studying economics, and he's a lecturer at Baba Ahmed University. And he says, how has SRK managed to win the hearts of the core Bollywood directors that they even put him in the spotlight?
I think that's because he's so good. And I think we hear often about how good his working relationship is. And we have to understand that he's very professional. He gives 200% to whatever his directors and his crew ask of him. And this is something we don't see on screen, but it's a very important part of why he's so successful. He's really hardworking.
Okay, Hassan Hussein says, how does Shah Rukh Khan maintain his fans, even though there are many? I think you talked about that, right?
Yes, yes. I think he is very open in his interaction with fans. He's also been making efforts to 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 show his films, to
Okay.
whatever he can do as a star, to show his films across the world. So I think his connection is only growing, and people now know that he is the most successful star in the world,
Yeah, definitely.
one of the most successful.
Yeah, definitely. And is he the most popular, the most loved, the one with the highest number of fans?
I think so. I think, yeah, that he probably has one of the highest number of fans in the world at the moment.
And thanks to the population of India, 1.4 billion.
Yes. I mean, that in itself is a huge number.
Yeah, I always, when giving analysis of politics and geopolitics and whatever, I always give examples of India, citing India as an example, because you people are very united. You value what is yours more than what is imported into your country from another country, and that is why if you see a YouTube channel from India, most of the subscribers and the people who are commenting on the videos are Indians, and they are happy, they are excited, they are united. And Bollywood, I think, has played a significant role in uniting the Indian cinema, and particularly since we are talking about Shah Rukh Khan, I would quote this to you. I had an interview with Professor Rini Mehta from
Mhm.
University of Illinois, I think 2 years ago, and she said she referred to Shah Rukh Khan as a unifier. Do you believe that?
Oh, completely, completely.
Wow.
Uh, I think uh, people come together to watch his movies, as you were also just saying,
Hmm.
and that's definitely one of his distinguishing characteristics. That people come together because of the love they share for him.
I will mention a name right now. His name is Awal Mahmoud Durmin Iya. I learned a lot of journalism from him. He was my editor when I was working for Hikima Radio in Kano, and he's a big fan of Shah Rukh Khan. Let me share this joke with you. Whenever he was very busy with work, putting the news together, editing news, editing inserts, audios, and so on, since it was a radio, do making sure that the news gets everything becomes successful. I would just use my MP3 Bluetooth player and play him some of Shah Rukh Khan's beautiful songs, and some of Arijit Singh's beautiful songs, and he would be smiling, working, pressing his computer, punching his computer, blah blah blah, doing the news, and at the same time smiling, enjoying the Bollywood. And I later realized that he's a big fan of Shah Rukh Khan. So we are also dedicating this program, or part of this program, to Awal Mahmoud Durmin. Yeah, when I told him that I was going to host you to talk about Shah Rukh Khan, listen to what he says. He says, "Wow, wow, wow! I am speechless. We are really grateful, brother Umar Isa Dandago." So people like Awal Mahmoud Durmin, yeah, are testaments of how Shah Rukh Khan has managed to penetrate hearts and minds.
Absolutely,
Hmm.
absolutely. I mean, look at us. I don't think we would have connected if it hadn't been for Shah Rukh Khan.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Both our Zoom backgrounds right now of Shah Rukh.
Oh, this is evident.
I have really enjoyed talking to you.
Me too.
I've learned so much. And
Mm.
yeah, my love to all of the Shah Rukh Khan fans out there.
Yeah,
Uh,
and I'm sure Ali Wazir Khan will be happy if I read these comments to you from him. He's also, I don't know, he identifies as Aliu Wazir Khan, Oh, Wazir Kapoor. We call him, no, his friend is Khan Babu. Okay, I don't know. I still don't know whether he's a fan of Shah Rukh Khan or not, but he likes Shah Rukh Khan. He was in India, and he studied something about Indian culture, literature, and language, and so on and so forth. He's one of the people that I would connect you to whenever you are available for an interaction with the fans. I would say I would use my professor's word, the fanatical fans of Bollywood. So he says, "My saval to her." That's to you. I don't know. Saval is something like greeting, right?
Question.
Okay, wow, that's great. He says, "My saval to her. Is she a fan? Meaning, are you a fan of Shah Rukh Khan?"
100%.
So Wazir Khan, you have heard this. And he says, if she's not a fan of Shah Rukh Khan, who is her favorite from yesteryears and today's?
Oh, I don't think I have to not be a fan of Shah Rukh Khan to say this, because I will always be Shah Rukh Khan's fan. But Amitabh Bachchan, Dilip Kumar, and from the female stars, Madhuri Dixit, Sridevi,
Yeah, sure.
Geeta Rahman, Madhubala.
Wow, that's lovely.
A lot of them.
That's lovely. So, please forgive me to put a couple of more questions before we wrap it up.
Okay.
Okay. This one, this one from Ahmad Dahiru Ibrahim on Facebook. He says, my question is, in which, no, this one is talking about the net worth of Shah Rukh Khan. But the most important question is, what is the status of Shah Rukh Khan's religion? And is there any genuine love between Shah Rukh Khan and Kajol? These are the questions that I'm particularly interested in.
Yes, I think they have a very good on-screen relationship, but they both have their own lives as husband and as wife, but not off-screen. They have their own families. They do. I think one of the reasons why they're such a good on-screen couple is because Kajol has the same kind of infectious energy as him, so she's a very good pair. I think she's one of the best co-stars he's had, and they work beautifully together.
But is it true that Ajay Devgan, Kajol's husband, was once angry at Shah Rukh Khan because of some of the roles that they played, Shah Rukh Khan and Kajol played together?
Yes, I believe there was some tension, but that has been resolved. I don't think that is something that is still the matter.
Oh, yeah.
These are creative relationships. There are ups and downs. It's like a ebb and flow. Sometimes things come up when they're collaborating, and that was one phase. But they have gone past that phase.
Okay, that's lovely to hear this. Um, what Mukafa Aliyu Muazu says, what is the big challenge in Shah Rukh Khan's life?
I think I would have to ask him. Maybe send him a question on X, and he might answer, because he does answer these questions.
Have you ever had a conversation with Shah Rukh Khan?
That's an interesting question. Not recently, no, but I was a student in Delhi University when he was performing in the theater there. So that's the closest I have come to Shah Rukh Khan. That was before he became a big star. But I can tell you, he was performing in a play. It was The Thief of Baghdad Ka Chor. And he was electrifying. His performance was electrifying. And I saw that live. So I hope that answers your question.
Okay, but I think okay. Well, what I would say is that I don't know. I don't know, but don't you think stars need to be more respectful of academics who do research and write prolifically about them by giving you time for interviews? I have watched an interview on your YouTube channel, and I would recommend people should search for your name, Anupama Prabhala, on YouTube and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You had an interview with S.S. Rajamouli. Is it immediately after the RRR won the Oscar?
That's correct.
Yeah, S.S. Rajamouli, and the other person, was he the producer or the director of the film? Hmm?
Shobu Yardagata.
Yeah, you spoke in front of students at university, and you moderated that conversation. I really loved that. So I would say if these stars can be more respectful of to the academia and the body of knowledge, they should be giving you time similar to that kind of time you got from SS Rajamouli. Am I making sense?
That would be a dream come true.
Okay. Anything more?
I think, but at the same time, I understand that, stars probably don't think enough about academics, but we spend all our working life talking about them, teaching about them, and if they are available, that's what I'm saying. It would be a dream come true if we could talk to them in person. But those opportunities are very rare. I know they're exceedingly special. I would love it so much if we could talk to them more often.
Yeah. So okay, let's use this medium. I don't know whether this video will go viral, and one of them will be able to see it. Let's use this opportunity to call on any superstar, any star, any superstar, whatever the connotation is, to have more time, to have some time, a lot of time, and more time even, to professors like Anupama Prabhala, who spend their own academic life researching about them, talking about them, teaching about them, and give them time for interviews, which would add value, would even sell them more to the students and so on, and would create a culture of credibility to their work, that, okay, before they produce a work, a book, an article, whatever, they have sat down with this actor or that actress for that. What can you say more about it?
I would love that. I hope we can post a message on X asking Shah Rukh Khan to come talk to us. I would love that. Maybe he can come to Loyola Marymount University. I know his son studied at USC, not too far from where I am. But I don't know if he, if he's given interviews to academics recently. But if he can, I think that would help our research enormously.
So let you and I say, Shah Rukh Khan, if you are listening, come over. We want to talk to you.
Shah Rukh Khan, if you're listening, come over. We want to talk to you.
That would be lovely. I think we are closing. We are getting to the last part, not last part of the interview, not because we have said all, not because I have asked you all the questions, but I'm sure, looking at your facial expression and the answers that you have given me, you are very much excited about this interview. And if I ask you, if I beg you to come back, someday in the near future, you will be able to come back. So maybe we'll reserve some of the questions about other subjects, and I'm sure you have some questions for me also, about RRR and a couple of other things. I enjoy this. I will definitely have time to continue. And like I told you earlier, if you are looking for any information about Bollywood in Nigeria, please, you have got me, and I'm ready. I'm more than ready to serve as your research assistant. Whatever you need, interviews, research, whatever. I'm here. Even if you want to come over to Nigeria, you will have a host in Abuja and in Kano, and inshallah, everything will go on successfully.
Thank you. That's very kind of you. It's been my pleasure. I've learned so much, and I would love to come back.
Yeah, definitely. So, can you help me with a short promo?
Hi, I'm Anupama Prabhala. I am chair of Film, Television and Media Studies at Loyola Marymount University. Please watch Umar Isa Dandago's Global Arena channel. Does that sound good?
Yeah, it sounds excellent. And can you say it in Hindi? Is it okay?
Sure.
Okay, please.
I can say it in Hindi. नमस्कार, मेरा नाम अनुपमा प्रभाला है। मैं लॉस एंजलिस में लोयोला मेरीमाउंट यूनिवर्सिटी में फ़िल्म, टेलीविज़न, मीडिया स्टडीज़ की डिपार्टमेंट चेयर हूँ। आप लोग प्लीज़ ज़रूर उमर ईसा दंदगू का ग्लोबल अरीना चैनल देखिए।
वाओ! बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. Thank you so much.
माय प्लेज़र।
Oh.
बहुत मज़ा आया। आई रियली एन्जॉयड टॉकिंग टू यू।
Oh, so what's the difference between बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया and बहुत मज़ा आया?
बहुत शुक्रिया इज़ थैंक यू वेरी मच। बहुत मज़ा आया इज़ आई एन्जॉयड मायसेल्फ वेरी मच।
Wow, बहुत मज़ा आया.
बहुत मज़ा आया।
Oh, that's great. Thank you for teaching me this.
And शब बख़ैर, राइट? शब बख़ैर।
Oh, what?
Until soon. शब
Oh,
बख़ैर.
that's,
Until soon.
my
Like au
bad.
revoir.
Yeah, my bad. I don't speak Hindi. And this is because I don't know. I have no excuse, but this is because I use the English language to interact with you, to read about the Bollywood things that I research about and so on and so forth. But definitely, I need to learn. I need to learn.
Thank you very much. Until soon. खुदा
Oh,
हाफ़िज़.
yeah, Khuda Hafiz. I also use this. Khuda Hafiz. All right. Thank you so much on behalf of everyone that has contributed to the program and Professor Anupama Prabhala. Thank you so much and see you soon.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.
Khuda Hafiz.
खुदा हाफ़िज़.
Wow, that's an interesting conversation. I'm Umar Isa Dandago. See you very soon.